Welcome to the Millennial Life Coaches podcast. At MLC, our mission is simple: add value to help you take on massive action towards your life goals. Here, we feature amazing coaches from all over the world, share compelling stories, and discuss proven practices to help keep your energy high and in the flow. Learn more about MLC at millenniallifecoaches.com.
Welcome to another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches. I'm one of your hosts. I am Lorna Taylor, and I'm with the confidence coach, Susan Axelrod, today. And I've already said to Susan, I think we're going to have such a wonderful conversation. I've got lots of things I would like to personally ask her about her specialist subject of confidence and what it is and what it isn't, and how we can have more of it in our lives. So I'm so pleased you could join us, Susan. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I feel deeply passionate, even compelled, especially to speak to millennials and young professionals.
Okay, perfect. This is going to be my first question, because when we spoke before, we were having a little dilemma about these terms: millennial, young professional. If you work with I know you work with lots of different people, but you were telling me about wanting to work with and reach more young professionals. Talk to me a little bit about why and who that might be, and kind of tell us a bit about the work that you do with young professionals.
Thank you so much for letting me say this and really have a platform to share this. A young professional to me is someone who is between the age of 22, which in my country would likely be graduated from college, or if you didn't go to college, you would have been working a few years, and the age of 39. Now, 39 is someone who is pretty fully cooked, but I've noticed in this day and age, based on a lot of things now, including the COVID crisis in the world, that young people who are 31, 33, 35, 36, 37 are still struggling a little bit. And so I've generously included people up to the age of 39. Lorna, if you're 40, you are fully cooked. And if you don't realize that, I encourage you to get a coach or get therapy and figure a few things out. In January of 2024, I was sitting thinking, as I do, just in my purpose space, basically asking God what is intended for me. What's the next thing I'm going to do? I already had a coaching business in my second career, a coaching business, published books, podcasts, a live platform, etc. And it was divined somehow that I would do more work in a more focused way with young professionals. So many years ago, almost 15, 14 years ago, in my primary career, which was as a fundraiser, I was a fundraising executive for 35 years for what we call nonprofit agencies, you call them NGOs. And I had already offered a mentoring program for young professionals in fundraising. So I had been working with them in that way as a direct mentor in a specific industry. As my coaching business found me, as the coaching business turned into confidence coaching, because of how people told me they felt when they worked with me, on that day, basically it was January 1st, I was guided to buy the domain name foryoungprofessionals.com. And basically I heard, this is something you'll be doing the rest of your life. So just to close out here by saying, Lorna, I wish that I had had someone like me who speaks directly and totally straight about every piece of shit that life throws at you. when I was in that age range. Instead, I was an overachieving, stressed, like young professional, married, children, community volunteer, career, etc. And I didn't do well. I had a personal emotional breakdown at the age of 37. And that's why this is one of my most precious, important groups that I work with today.
Oh my gosh, I'm 36, so don't tell me there's a breakdown around the corner, Susan.
If you need a coach, just give me a call, honey. Look, I don't know you that well, but I go like in quickly and deep quickly. So one of the things I know about you from following you, listening to you, watching you, and just one or two conversations with you is that you are open and aware and conscious, and that you're thinking. When you begin to live life unaware, unconscious, no thought, just doing on the hamster wheel, that's when there begins to be problems. Now, having said that, I don't know anything about you personally, but my clients know, as it says on my website, Susan talks about everything from strategy to sex. Now, with my young men professionals, I don't go into graphic detail. I basically be like, hey, sex is important. Not going to talk about it with you, but if you want to, ask me anything you want. But with my women young professional clients, I will really speak in a completely holistic way about life.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay. I agree with you. I would say that as well about myself. I feel like I am open and aware and want to listen. And I'm probably a perfect person for you to coach and for you to work with.
I'm available.
Getting ahead shouldn't mean burning out or following some outdated playbook that never really fit us anyway. That's why I wrote Intrinsic Leadership. It's a guide to help you reclaim your influence, align with your purpose, and lead with confidence without losing yourself in the process. Inside, you'll find stories, reflection prompts, and practical tools you can actually use to lead your life and work your way. You can grab Intrinsic Leadership on Amazon, Audible, or bookshop.org. And a huge thank you to Millennial Life Coaches for featuring me. I'm Melissa Castro, leadership coach, consultant, and author. Come connect with me on Instagram at intrinsicleadllc or find me at www.intrinsiclead.com. Let's level up and lead from within.
That leads me to my next question, though. I may not need the help the most because I'm already quite open and questioning and curious and wanting to do that. How do you reach the people who are unconscious, who are just on the hamster wheel, who are not even aware? They need the help more. How are you going to reach them, Susan? How do you get to those people that need your help the most?
So one of the transitions of my life on what I call my journey to the light, AKA enlightenment, my conscious transformation, my transformation of my consciousness was in the early days when it began to be clear that I was destined to have some kind of online business model. I've been going live on Facebook for almost 20 years now. I started using Facebook in this way before, when I was just in my primary career. In the early days, I struggled with the business model. God, I was, grabbing and clutching and wanting and wishing and, just seeking and paying and, all the things to try to get seen and heard in the way you just asked. Now, in my maturity at 63, that hurts, but it's the truth. In my maturity, I don't seek people.
Mhm.
I speak, I share, I put out a lot in my business model. I went live every day for 3 years. I called it Live at 5 with the confidence coach, Susan Axelrod. I go live frequently. I have a YouTube channel with hundreds, many, many hundreds, coming into near 1,000, over 800 videos, and so on and so forth. So you asked me, how do you find the people who need you most? And I say, I'm clear, I'm conscious, I'm available for when they really need to find me. My business model is limited. I'm not trying to be all that to everyone.
Mhm.
So most of my work is by word of mouth. I do my social media output. I do things like this with gratitude. I joined this coaching platform
Mhm.
with a commitment and intention to be heard and seen and found by more of those people.
Mhm.
And honestly, this is a 180-degree shift from seeking, wanting, wishing, needing. How can I find them? How can I find them? So do you understand what I'm saying here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Do you think that's more of a feminine way to approach business growth, marketing? Because I speak to a lot of women, you probably speak to a lot of women as well, that don't want to put themselves out there in such a strong bro marketing, LinkedIn kind of way. They want to lean into the feminine and the soft, and the what's meant to come to me will come to me, which is difficult on social media, which is difficult online, because you have to be the loudest and you have to be the one appearing the most. Go on.
It's not, yeah, it's not really difficult because what energy, is there an energy stronger than mama energy? That may be mama nature to you if someone isn't a mama on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So you made there was an assumption embedded in what you said. There
Okay.
was an assumption basically that mama energy or woman energy, feminine energy is soft and like over here, and masculine energy is loud and aggressive over there. Now, okay, generally that's how we think of it.
Mm-hmm.
But on this side, my business system that I teach from my own business that I developed, I'm 100% fully self-supportive as a coach. Most coaches cannot say that. If they say it, they're lying. And so, but this is something, it's important. I'm a single woman now, and I teach prosperity consciousness. The business system I teach is called the intuitive business system. And so to answer your question directly, when you're in your intuitive space, if any of those women found me, the women you just talked about, oh, I don't want to be too out there. I don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to come across as arrogant or know-it-all or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shy. I'm, uncomfortable with that. I get it. I would say if you really embrace the women's intuition, instead of listen to the patriarchy who says it's not real, if you embrace your own intuition, I call this your soul space. This is what I mean in my books and all of my work. When I say connected to soul energy, connected to self energy, then you be like, who wants to listen to me? Will you listen to me? Will you listen to me? Will you listen to me? Like, please listen to me. Please listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
So without any apologizing,
Mm-hmm.
without any fear or wondering or worry, like who's listening to me, because I just say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have become more emboldened. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons I work with young professionals is because nobody told me then, oh, it gets so much easier. You come into what I call your maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And, it does take some breaking of old constructs and paradigms and negative limiting beliefs and all of that. But boy, I had a fear of aging, long story short. And then I turned 50 and I'm like, I'm rocking this. And then I turned 60. I'm like, oh, it gets even better. But when I was in my mid 30s and 40s, I worried about it. So as we grow into our maturity, we get more personally confident. We can, or the opportunity is there. If you love yourself and believe yourself, and then give yourself permission to be yourself.
That's wonderful to hear. I've got good years ahead of me. I've got better.
You've got good years ahead of you.
Yes, amazing. Susan, I would love to ask you a bit more specifically about the topic of confidence. And I wrote down a few things that, if I was trying to define it, maybe what I would call it. I would love to hear what you define it as. What the word confidence, how do you describe it? How do you define it?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm really not about that.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No. So let me explain, because, and I don't mean to be rude. I'm explaining like who I am and how I work and how I got here. And it's, excuse me, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just opening up this new way of thinking for the purpose of our conversation. And when speaking about me, a question about how does something get defined? Basically, it's defined by the patriarchy. And so for me, confidence, the word self-confidence or confidence, personal confidence, is soul.
Okay.
It's soul. It's your soul. I call it soul confidence. It's your soul. And most of us, our soul is down there. She's agitated. She's worried. She's scared of getting it wrong. She's afraid from all the good reasons for her to be afraid. And she's dimmed and dull and, like down low and small. And that's what I was talking about that I learned, but nobody told me this when I was in my 30s. Like the more confident you get, the sense of self grows. You ask, what does confidence mean? It's like the sense of selfness. Right? I don't have a definition, that might be from the dictionary, which was written by men and all the things. So I want to be very clear about this. This is actually the opportunity. Anybody who's listening or watching this discussion, this is the opportunity to come more into yourself, to ask yourself, what does my personal confidence mean to me? And if you work with me, it's really not fun and it's not easy, but it is awesome because I will ask you a lot of clarifying questions. Well, how do I get more confident? I don't know. How do you think you do? Like what's the problem? What area of life are we talking about? There's different buckets of life, etc. I'm not trying to be difficult, Lorna. I want to be clear that our own personal journey is more in our own hands than we're told, than we realize, because we're not told that. We're told the opposite. Then we also often believe. And that's what I want to get across here. When you ask me, well, what's your definition of confidence? And I resist, I push back. I'm like, I don't have it, right? Okay, well, it's about you. And mostly it's all connected to about how you feel. So I had to break through the type A constructs, the overachieving type A perfectionist construct, to actually go into therapy to feel. And you do that through process of being, whatever. My first book is called Your Job is to Be, because my psychiatrist with whom I was working from my breakdown, I was on meds, said, we're called human beings, not human doings. And I'm like, what? And so that's why I answered you in that way, because people are looking for definitions, but other people make the definitions and they don't always fit us. The soul space is where confidence comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for allowing me to speak freely.
Okay, so what I'm getting back from you then is I can have my own idea of what my confidence is, and then so it's my own definition. I decide what my own confidence is.
And further, it's right.
Oh,
It's right.
quite validating.
See what happened here? So you said, I can have my own definition. And I said, yeah, and your definition is going to be right. I mean, if I were working with you, I got to know you, I would say things like, I have young professionals I've been working with for almost 10 years on and off, over a decade. I have other professionals, they're not working with me now. I worked with them for 3 or 4 years. Most of my clients are long-term clients. But for young people, under the age of 40, 35, 30, 25, etc., you think you're told your whole life, oh, it has to be this way. Well, that's the only way to do it. And I struggled with this. This is how I evolved to be me. I struggled because I had to get everything right, but I wasn't getting it right according to what?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else's construct, including the paradigm of my overachieving family, my loving, amazing, wonderful, family where I was, privileged and loved and happy. It was still overachieving and a lot of layers imposed on me, right? And so that's why I speak the way I do. That's how I show up with clients and in my, my online space to validate and verify you. I said to my own daughter, whose birthday is next week, what do you want for your birthday, honey? I want to get you something really good because you're doing adulting really well. And I say to my clients, you're doing a stellar job at life. Period. That's a complete statement.
Oh,
yeah.
That's such a nice,
and that's something, that's something that we're not told, especially in these years that we're talking about. And you could tell me, Lorna, if you really get where I'm coming from, if you get what I'm saying, because otherwise I already know this because I feel energy. So I know there's a soul part of you being like, that's bullshit. Right? There is a right and wrong. There is a way you have to play. There are things that you have to do. Like there's a part of you that's in that paradigm. I get it. And that's why I say, like, I wish I had known then that aging actually supports you. Because basically, as women, I'm not talking about men, I have one brother. I don't have sons. I do have nephews. I've worked with some men in my career, but I have sisters. I went to a girls' camp. I went to a women's college. I work with women now, mostly. And we're constantly being told, we're not getting it right, doing it right. And the patriarchy thinks that they got it right when we can clearly see that they haven't. And so that's why I speak in this way, Lorna, to say what is right according to whom? Why isn't your definition of confidence for you how I feel? And for people who are listening to this and not watching it, when I said how I feel just now, I lifted up my upper body. I brought my shoulders back and down in a nice square stance. I'm aligning my neck with my spine. My chin is down a little bit. This is a confident stance. Why isn't this enough? So do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Well, I starting to. I can feel resistance of but there'll be things that are confidence and things that are not. Like they're like a black and white. I can feel that, me wanting to say that to you.
So, right. And yeah, I'm so glad this is the thing. And so now we do get into the masculine energy, where masculine energy is right and wrong, black and white. It's linear. It's, blocks, right? Feminine energy is more gray. It's non-linear, as we call it. It's more nurturing. But that does not mean that women literally run the world, because women run the homes. Women run the homes with the children. They run the communities. If women don't have children, they're running their churches and their workplaces because those are their fill-in children or whatever. And so that just doesn't get acknowledged. It doesn't get, it's not appreciated and it's not held up. I mean, running a home is a major business endeavor. And, even high executives, you've heard them interviewed a million times, they may be CEOs at work and then they got to get home and they still clean dirty diapers and, make sure there's carrots in the fridge and whatever. Yeah. So this is a very serious and very important conversation of breaking. Now I'm breaking open the chains, like breaking open to imagine maybe I'm good as I am. Maybe I am right. What if this was the way? What if the idea I had or the path I'm taking is a good path for me for now, even though other people are telling me it's not, or you're doing it wrong? Lorna, I want to acknowledge this is why I do this work. Because when I was that age, I was in a different paradigm. And it would have been hard for me to believe. I would have been like, that's like a crock of crap. And so I really do get it.
Okay, that's just reminded me, you bringing that up about CEOs running a household. I made a joke to my sister who has a business management degree and now has 2 young kids, and I've never seen a house run like immaculately. And I say she's applied everything she learned in her business management degree to running her house, and it's completely different to mine. But absolutely, like I am nodding along going, yeah, she's totally doing
and that's amazing. Yeah. But guess what? guess who's criticizing her? Other women who have, messy kitchens and messy counters.
Oh yeah, I'm going, oh yeah, my house is nice. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're criticizing her. I'm just saying that she's being, quote, criticized by women in her circles, the at-home women who think she's managing too tightly or whatever. But she's learned a very important secret that systems matter. Systems. This is why I created the intuitive business system. I teach systems. I teach an overall general business system. And then inside the overall system, I have the S for systems is one of the things that I teach. And she's learned that systems matter. And you know who's going to benefit? Her kids. Yeah. They're going to be like, oh yeah, mommy says when you put the shoes there, you know where to find them. They have to go in the cubby by the door. Otherwise I get in trouble. Good. Go find your shoes. Oh, they're right in the cubby by the door. Right? Do you know what I mean? I bet if you asked your sister, do you feel judged by other, women? She may be like, oh yeah, they think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
That would be my mom that thinks she's crazy. Yeah.
That's a whole podcast for another time. But I would like to say on that point, I have worked with intention and commitment to not be that mom, not that there's anything wrong with your mom, to not be that mom to my 30 and 35-year-old daughters. With intention and commitment, I have worked, I've failed a lot. I still work at it. I've succeeded sometimes, pulling back that thing, not talking about your mom, but that is a thing that women suffer. Of the judgment. The way you live your life, you're not asking me for anything. You seem to be doing great. You're in charge of yourself. You're independent. So why am I going to say to you, well, you should be doing it this way? Well, you didn't do this. Don't get me wrong. I fail. I can hear myself already saying a few things, but I just want you to know, I have worked very hard with commitment and intention to pull back from my own daughters so that I'm not that way that we're talking about.
My response to her is always, well, Mum, you raised 2 really strong, independent daughters, so we're fine. We're good.
We're fine. Thanks, Mom. That's awesome. So good.
Oh, Susan, right. I feel like I was going to ask you loads of other things, but actually, now that you've turned it back and sort of said, you can make your own definition of confidence. I feel silly now asking you for, tell me some things that will make me more confident, because it doesn't make any sense now.
Well,
So,
let me just take 2 minutes to address this. It's always okay to ask for help, to ask for guidance, to ask for tips, tools, strategies. It's always good. It's always okay. And I do want to say very clearly to anyone who is listening, something I had to break through myself. I had to learn myself on my whole journey, and my journey was messy and exceedingly nonlinear to get to where I am right now. And that is, I have learned the magic of the breath. And so to feel more confident, I already did what we call in Qigong body alignment, where you tune into your body posture, your body structure, and really especially tune into getting your neck aligned with your spine, because most of us live in what we call the S curve, the stress position, where the neck and the chin, the shoulders are forward, you're jutting forward like this. And so when we come back into the body alignment, we call it, using body movement with our shoulders, etc. And then we have the breath. So if there was one thing I was going to invite people to learn and practice on how to feel more confident. Confidence is a feeling state of being, not a getting to state of being. It's to learn this one breath. I call it the long, slow, deep breath, as I was taught it by the Qigong master I learned under. Long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Long, extended exhale out through your nose. One breath will change everything. 2 breaths will change your dynamic. And so the nasal breathing in this way activates the vagal nerve, which is a real nerve, not a woo-woo thing. It's a piece of your anatomy. It runs through the body. And if you're feeling unconfident and you want to feel more confident, you can do this. Oh my God, it's so good. It's like literally so good. It will shift you from the sympathetic, where you're feeling not confident, worried, concerned, stressed, anxious, into the parasympathetic, which is where we are either in rest and digest or also restorative. And even if you're overly excited, you still may need to come down a little bit. Nothing wrong with being excited and enthusiastic, but that breath is one of the tools that I had to learn the hard way. I learned it. It works. I teach breath medicine. I teach integral wellness. I teach Qigong and Tai Chi. I teach these things for this reason. It's all about restoring personally the way we feel.
Okay, wonderful. So that's something that anybody could take if they feel the doubts coming in, if they feel the panic, they're feeling unconfident in any situation. Just the simple, long, slow breath.
Right. LSD breath, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And if you want it to be a slam dunk, you're going to bring in your mind focus and just set an intention, say an affirmation, please, thank you, all is well, or especially my favorite, I'm in charge of my energy. I'm in charge of me.
I'm in charge. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we combine the mind focus with the body movement, the breath, and this idea, I'm in charge of me. You're not in charge of me. And the man, the husband, the boss, the brother, the father, the neighbor, anybody who thinks they're in charge of you, screw you. I don't even like you. It's like all these narcissistic husbands, screw you. I'm in charge of me. And you can say or do or be. Physical beating is a different story. Of course, I understand that. I'm obviously, that aside. You can say or do anything you want to me. I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of me. Yeah, I'm in charge of me. That's personal confidence.
Oh, Susan. Right. I'm going to write that down 1 second. I'm of me.
Yeah. My energy is my job. I'm in charge of my energy. I'm in charge of me. But I didn't know that when I was in my 30s or frankly in my 40s. I had a journey. I had therapy. I had all the things and the medication and the things. I went on medication for 7 years. I got off medication. I use exercise. I'm, fit. It's important. Nature, all the tools, and I'm in charge of me.
Wonderful. I feel like anyone that's in my generation, I feel like we are going to benefit so much from the wisdom from women like you, from your generation, who are saying, I didn't have this. Now we know this. I'm passing this on. And it's going to be people my age, in young professionals, in mid-30s, that are going to be the new wave that will have all these advantages. I'm so grateful. And then the world is going to be insane in the next 20, 30 years. It's going to be completely different.
The world is going to be different in 20 days from now, Lorna. Let's call out what is. The world is going to be different in 20 days. And 20 months from now, the world is going to be different. Our job is our energy. We can be in charge of ourselves. I understand and appreciate. It's why I do my coaching work. I'm very serious about this. I understand what it's like to be in connection to a partner, spouse, person. I get it. I get it. I had to suffer it. I share my story personally, and won't go into it here. But you're only going to do marginally better than we did, as we did marginally better than our mothers, as they did marginally better than their grandmothers. But the opportunity is maximum change. It's personal transformation. Now we're in a paradigm shift. And also, it's not always easy.
Oh, Susan, okay. I really want to thank you for this conversation. And anyone who's listening or watching who has felt really activated by the things that we've spoken about, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get some support from you? What is their next step if they have been drawn in to your world?
You can look me up anywhere. Susan Axelrod, the Confidence Coach. My website is whatwillyourlegacybe.com. And I have a YouTube channel. I have published books. I go live frequently. I have my own platform. But the most important thing is I work with very few people. You can literally find my number on my website, pick up the phone, and call me. If you really want to have a conversation, I would love to. Otherwise, please watch my videos and follow me online.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this conversation and sharing everything and just being so wonderful and open. I've written that down. I'm in charge of me. So I'm going to take that from our conversation. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for inviting me to this space. And rock on. It's an important space you're creating.
Wonderful. Thank you, Susan.